Muy buenas tardes. En breve daremos inicio con nuestra sesión de inglés. Bienvenidos sean todos. Recuerden tener a la mano su cuaderno de notas, lápiz, goma, todo lo que necesiten para trabajar de forma correcta. Gracias.
Hello everyone and welcome once again to Yuku English con a Math Curso by Ecatepec. Today we're gonna look two topics again. The first, the verbs to be in the past, was and were, then WH word, but in past tense, right? Today, we will learn to describe people and objects in the past using the verb to be in the past form. We will study the necessary information about it. Think for a moment about the answers to the following questions. How long were you last year? Where were you yesterday evening? What was the weather like yesterday? To answer sorry, to answer this type of question, we need to use the verb to be in the past. In this class, you will become familiar with the use of the verb to be in the past, was and were. This is the name of the topic, right? You will use the verb to be, was and were repeat in affirmative, negative, and interrogative form to describe condition and situation that were true at a specific time in the past. You will achieve this using people and places in the world of the music, right? So let's start. The first verb to be in the past. In this case, we have two types of words for using in the past with the verb to be. First, was, and were. Check this. When we use the word was, right? First, but we use, or when we talk about or singular. First, for singular, right? And were for plural, obviously. Next, only one person, object, or animal except you. And what we use for I, he, she, for all the singulars except you. Repeat, exception for the you. When we use you, we need use the word were, right? So this is the first plural, then two or more subjects. For two or more subjects. And the last, we use with the subjects you, we, they. In the both sense, right? For singular, you, tú, and for plural, you, ustedes, right? For both words, right? So was, were, singular, plural, I, he, she, and it. It, except you. And where we use for plural, two or more subjects, we, for the personal pronouns, you, in the both ways, we, they, right? Please copy this in your notebook. Are you done? Right. Using the verb to be in the past, we can make affirmative, negative, and interrogative sentence to ask or giving information. Now we are going to explore the general characteristic of three forms. The first is for affirmative sentence. Right? I'm gonna do like this. The first is affirmative sentence. Right? For affirmative sentence, the structure is the next. Subject plus was or were plus complement. Easy, right? Repeat. Subject plus was or were plus complement. Check these examples for all the personal pronouns. Well, this is the plus. And for example, I was happy. I was sad. I was happy. Right? For the first personal pronoun. And now with you, you were angry. Repeat. You were hungry. Right? Next, he was sad. He was sad, right? Next, she was a nurse. She was a nurse, right? Next, with it was big. It was big. Next, we were, sorry, don't say we was. We were early. We, personal pronoun, subject, we were early. Next example with this, you were at the school. You were at the school. You were at the school. Next, they were quiet. I repeat, they were quiet. They were quiet. Are you done? Right? Easy, right? Please take a screenshot or photo or note for this one. Are you done? I'm gonna delete all this, right? This was affirmative sentence. Now, for negative sentence, we just add not after the word or was. Check this. In this case, was were. In this case, it's right. It's like was not, or were not, or their contractions wasn't. This one and this one, it's the same. In this case, weren't. Right? No, sorry. In this case, was complement. Check this. In this case, subject was not or wasn't. Subject were not, weren't, plus complement. For example, I wasn't sad. I wasn't sad, right? Simple sentence. Next, you weren't thirsty. You weren't. In this case, thirsty is when you want you want water, right? Yes, you want water, right? Thirsty. He was a teacher, wasn't a teacher. He she wasn't happy. Next, in this case, it wasn't small. Next, we weren't late. We weren't late. Next, you weren't at home. Weren't at home. And finally, they weren't noisy. Repeat. They weren't noisy. Right? This is for a negative sentence. Subject plus was not or wasn't, or subject plus were not or weren't, and complement plus complement. And finally, we have a negative sentence, right? Yo no era, yo no estaba. For example, for this, I wasn't sad, yo no estaba triste. In this case, they weren't, you weren't at home. In this case, remember in English, we know we have no difference between ser or estar. It's the same word, be. Now, you were at home, it's like no estabas en casa, right? Please take photo for this. I get off in front of your camera. Right. Are you done? I'm sure. Now, the last part is interrogative sentence, right? For yes, no questions, right? Yes, check for interrogative sentence. It's like the structure for the negative sentence for the question sentence. In this case, we start the sentence with, or the questions with was or were, with verb to be, right? We start was or were plus subject plus complement. Right. I mean, check this. Check this. This is the difference between affirmative and negative. I'm gonna write an affirmative sentence, and then I'm gonna change in interrogative sentence, right? In question. Check. For affirmative, this is just an example for this. For example, in affirmative, we can say they were happy. Repeat, they were happy. For a affirmative sentence. They were happy. Now, for interrogative, for questions, it's the next. In this case, switch the words, right? I'm gonna change the order of the words in the sentence. The first is were with capital letter, were they happy, right? Question mark, right? I mean, switch these words, switch the words, right? And the possible short answer for this, it's like, were they happy? I mean, yes, they were, or no, they weren't. Repeat. The short answer for this, it's like, repeat, yes, they were. Short answers. Short answers. If it's just yes, yes, they were. And or maybe it's negative. No, they weren't. I'm gonna give you another example with this. She was rich. Repeat. Another example with another color. Repeat. She was rich. She was rich. Can you see? This is for affirmative sentence. She was rich. Now, in question sentence, it's like, was she rich? Was she rich? Question mark. This is for questions. I mean, again, switch the words, right? Switchamos, switch the words, right? Was she rich? And you can, maybe you can answer for this question. Yes, she was. Again, short answers. for these questions? Yes, she was. Or maybe not. I mean, no, she wasn't. Right? Easy, right? Please write down on your notebooks or your laptops, or I don't know, or take a screenshot, take photo. Whatever you want to do. I'm gonna delete and I'm gonna give you all the questions for all the subject pronouns. I mean, I, you, he, she, it, we, they, etc. Right? Please, I'm gonna delete all this. Sorry. The, the structure is the next. Was, were, subject, complement. Was, were, subject, complement. Repeat. Was or were, subject, complement. Was or were plus subject plus complement a plus question mark, right? Check this example for this one. For example, with I, was I chubby when I was a kid? Repeat. Was I mean me, was I chubby? Right? I was chubby when I was kid. And question mark. This for I. And now for you, and the possible answer for this is yes, you were. No, you weren't. Right? Yes, you were. Or no, you weren't. Right? The next example. Were you at home last night? Were you at home last night? And complement question mark. Were you at homework last night? No, I won. Yes. I'm sorry again. No, I wasn't. Or yes, yes, I was. Right? The possible answers were the short answer. This is only for yes, no questions. Right? And next example with this structure. What, and in this case with he. What his, repeat, what his was he on compliment at school this morning? At school this morning? At school this morning? Next. Was he at school this morning? And the next with it. Was it hot last summer? Repeat. Was it hot last summer? All right. And you can answer it's maybe yes, it was. No, it wasn't. Right? Repeat. Yes, it was. No, it wasn't. Right? Next example. Were we at a party last Sunday? Repeat. Night with black. Were we at a party last Sunday? Right, and you can answer for this like yes, we were, or no, we weren't. Repeat the short answer for this. Yes, we were, or not. No, we weren't. Now, the last sentence for this. Were you angry? Repeat. Were you angry? I mean, hungry, very hungry, right? And you can say yes, you can say, no, they weren't. Yes, they were. Repeat the short answer for this question. Yes, they weren't. No, yes, they were. No, they weren't, right? Please take photo for this one. I get off. Are you done? Right. We are missing double H questions in the simple past with the verb to be, but we are to leave this for in-person classes, right? I mean, no estamos dejando de lado las preguntas con WH en inglés en pasado. Me refiero how, when, what, whose, etcétera, etcétera. Pero estas las vamos a ver en la clase presencial, ¿vale? Entonces, si quieres escribirte al inglés, todo se medida con Omat, Ecatepec, a una cuadra del Mexibus, San Cristóbal Centro. Regresamos al inglés. Check. Notice in these questions, we don't use was and were to describe action in the past, right? We use it to express the same concepts as the verb to be in the present simple, right? That is their use to talk about someone's past information, origin, name, profession, age, description, location, birthplace, birthday, and possession. Well, we need to recognize some vocabulary in order to express conditions in the past. For example, vocabulary for the place. I'm gonna delete this. Check. In this case, for the place, for example, for place, right? Um, for example, Michael Jackson was at school in 1916. Repeat. Michael Jackson was at school. Right? Repeat. Michael Jackson was at school in 1960. Right? Now for adjective. Now, for example, for this one, for adjective, John Lennon and Paul McCartney were shorter, where they were 5 years old, right? Adjective, were shorter, right? John Lennon and Paul McCartney were shorter. John Lennon and Paul McCartney were shorter, right? With another for origin, right? For origin. Check for origin. Maybe you can say Elvis Presley was from the USA. Repeat. Elvis Presley. Elvis Presley was from the USA. No sé si ese color amarillo se ve. Lo voy a cambiar. Bueno. Just hold on. Give me a moment, please. Right. With this. Now, nationality, right? Nationality. For example, with nationality, maybe Consuelo Vasquez was Mexican. Consuelo Vasquez was Mexican. And last, for this, professions. For example, with profession, I know, Pedro Negrete, Jorge Negrete was an actor. Repeat. Jorge Negrete was an actor, right? And time expression in the past, such as 3 years ago, when she died, in 2005, last week, when I was child, last night, 5 years ago, 1 year ago, 5 hours ago, 2 hours ago, last year, last class, yesterday, 6 months ago. I mean these phrases. For past, repeat, 3 years ago. I mean hace 3 años, right? Last week. Last year, last class. Last class. Yesterday. Yes, yesterday. Yesterday in the morning, yesterday in the evening, or one day before yesterday. How do you say antier? I mean, ayer, yesterday. Y antier, when you want to say antier, but in English you can say one day before yesterday. I mean, un día antes de ayer, right? Or 6 months ago, and etc. etc. Right? Please take photo for this one. Right. It's time for your homework. Homework. Right? Your homework. Check this. For this activity for writing and speaking, uh, keep in mind this, right? The most memorable concert I have ever been to. How much do you like music? What kind of music do you like? Have you ever been to a concert? Which is the most memorable concert you have been to? Uh, where was it? What was the weather like? How was the atmosphere? Was the music good? Were the people excited? Right? Think about it where the concert took place, such as the weather, the atmosphere, the singers, your feeling and sensation, that special day. Do not think about action, just think about describing and using what and where, right? Tell us about your experience by answering the following questions. You will record yourself and you will record the questions and the answer. Try to use as many adjectives as you can. The first question is, when was the concert? The first. When was the concert? Next question for your homework, maybe. Where was it? Repeat. Where was it? Where was it? Right? Where was it? Next, who were you with? Who were you with? Who were you with? Who were you with? And the last, maybe, how was, what was the weather like? 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 Right? Please take note for this one. Or maybe another questions like, how did you feel when the concert's finished? How did you feel during the concert? Were you happy, excited, sad, satisfied, angry, bored? Describe the atmosphere. What was the weather like the day or night? What was the concert expensive, and etc. Please take for this homework. Esa es tu tarea. Anótala, por favor. Y ahorita vamos a poner los ejercicios. In one good moment, I'm gonna give you some exercise. Now, for the exercise, just hold on. Now, for exercise, use the construction in negative sentence, and I'm gonna give you an example. First, write a negative sentence, then a period after that the correct idea. For example, this is an just example for you. For example, John, the house was warm. The house was warm, and another person answer. For example, how Mary. This case, Mary says, no, it wasn't warm. Repeat. No, it wasn't warm. That it was cold. Repeat, it was cold. It was cold. Now, another example with this. Well, another exercise for this one. And the next person, the garden was small. The garden was small. No. Without this. Another person, Pete. The garden was small. And Mary can ask for this sentence. What do you think that Mary maybe can she context? All right, can she answer for this sentence? For example, no, it wasn't small, it was big. No, wasn't small, that it was big. The next, for example, in this case, uh, the living room was red. The living room and Mary answered. Mary answered. I repeat. The living room. Was red. The living room was red. Without this was red, and Mary. No, it wasn't red. It was pink. Pink or blue or yellow or red or orange, etc. And the last. And the last for this, John. The kitchen was hot. Peter. The kitchen was hot. And Mary says, no, try to solve this. What do you think goes in this sentence? Are you ready? In this case, Mary says, no, it wasn't old, it was new. No, it wasn't old, it was new. Right, please take photo for this one or a screenshot. This is all for this topic. Bien, este es el final de la primera parte de esta clase. Recuerda que las clases se estructuran de 2 temas por lo regular y vemos un tema en la primera hora y un tema en la segunda hora. Hemos terminado el tema del verbo to be con was and were y sus oraciones afirmativas, negativas e interrogativas, así como vimos algunas palabras que tienen que ver con el pasado, todo con pasado. El siguiente tema es there was, there were. De nuevo, habla de existencia pero en pasado. Antes de pasar al siguiente tema, voy a hacerte un pequeño refresh sobre el there is and there are para que todo quede bien claro. Entonces empezamos con la siguiente hora de nuestra clase de inglés y te recuerdo que si quieres entrar a nuestro curso de inglés puedes contactarnos directamente en nuestras instalaciones. Estamos ubicados en Economa de Catepec, en la avenida 3030, Colonia San Cristóbal Centro, a una cuadra del Mexibus de San Cristóbal. Estamos muy céntricos y los precios son realmente muy accesibles. Asimismo, te recordamos que no solamente contamos con cursos de inglés, sino también con matemáticas, esferas de química, curso de ingreso al Comipems, curso de ingreso a la UNAM, al Politécnico, bachillerato para Colbach, bachillerato Colbach, muy express, muy rápido. Entonces, pues te esperamos, ¿no? Bien, esto es todo por esta primera parte. Iniciamos con nuestra segunda parte. Now, by the end of this class, of this topic, you will use the structure there was and there were to say that something exists in the past, right? In the past, in the negative, affirmative, and interrogative form. You will recycle quantity expressions to ask and give information about objects and places. But before to start this interesting topic, I'm gonna give you a little refresh for there is and there are in simple present, right? There is and there are. For remember, there is. Also, there are. Right. When we use these words, remember, we use there is and there are to express that something exists. Repeat, that something exists. We use all of these words for talking about that something exists. Exist, it's like exist. Like, sorry, that something exists, right? But we use there is for singular and we use there is for plural. Check this example. There is an apple on the table. Repeat, there is an apple on the table. There is an apple on the table, right? I mean, this there is for singular, like this, an apple, right? And one example for there are two women in the car. Repeat. There are two women in the car. I mean, there are, it's for plural, like this, two women, right? For plural, right? You also know some expression to talk about the quantities of objects. For example, check these charts. These countable nouns. In these uncountable nouns, countable nouns are things that you can count. For example, a person, a student, one student, two students, three students, or people, or not people, or apple, or orange. One orange, two orange, three orange, right? Things that you can count, right? And for uncountable noun, things that you cannot count. For example, water. You can't say one word, two words, or cheese. You can't say one cheese or three cheese. In that case, you can say piece of cheese. One piece of cheese, two pieces of cheese, three pieces of cheese, etc. Right? So, uncountable things that cannot be counted. Right? Now, we use a lot of, right? Mucho de, a lot of. For example, a lot of. With countable nouns and with uncountable nouns. A lot of. For example, with countable nouns. A lot of orange. Right? In uncountable noun, a lot of pollution. Now, the next word, some, right? Some. With countable and with uncountable. Some cars, for example, one car, two cars, three cars, like Rayo McQueen, not cars. And with uncountable noun, some wine, some cheese, some bread, some water, some coffee, some sugars. In this case, some water, some wine. Now, next, a few. Repeat, a few. Only when uncountable noun. For uncountable, we use a little. A little, right? Un poco de. With countable noun, a few boats. A few boats. A few boats. Where is? A few boats. And a little, maybe a little danger. A little danger. Another word with this, a few, the next word. In this case, any. Any we use for both, for countable and uncountable. But remember, we use only with negative and interrogative sentence, right? For negative and interrogative sentence. And we never use any for positive sentence, right? For example, with countables, any students, any students. With uncountable nouns, uh, any milk. Now, the last for this, many. And much. How much? Many, for example, with many rooms. With how much in a question, how much sugar was there, how much sugar was there, how much sugar was there in the cabinet. How much sugar was there in the cabinet, right? For uncountable nouns with quantities and uncountable nouns. A lot of mucho. We use for bow, for countable and uncountable. Some the same, we use for bow. Some cars, some wine. A few only with countable nouns and a little only with uncountable nouns. Any we use for about, for uncountable nouns, for countable nouns and uncountable nouns. But we always use for negative sentence and questions sentence, right? Any, only for negative and questions. Any students, any meal. I mean ninguno, right? And many we only use for countable noun. For example, how many piece of chocolate would you like, right? And how much for uncountable noun? How much sugar was there in the cabinet, right? Please take photo for this information, for this knowledge that it's very important for you. I'm gonna delete all this. Right. Remember, we use any with interrogative and negative sentence, with countable or uncountable nouns. We describing the quantity of countable nouns with many, a few, some, and a lot of. And we describing the quantities of uncountable nouns with much, a little, some, and a lot of. Many also used with questions. How many, right? Much is usually used with how. We use with interrogative and uncountable, right? Uncountable things. Now, study existent in the past. We use there was a word to say that something exists in the past. Additionally, we can include it past time expressions. Here is the affirmative form with singular nouns. For example, check this. For example, there was an apple on the table. There was an apple on the table. Right? There was an apple on the table. Había una manzana sobre la mesa. Right? There was. This is for singular nouns. This is for singular. Now the next for plural with plural nouns. There were two women in the park. There were two women, yes, in the park. There were two women in the park. I mean, this is for plural nouns. Easy, right? Now, for example, now this is for affirmative sentence, right? This is for affirmative sentence. This is for affirmative sentence. Now, for question sentence. And now for questions, it's like, for example, again, switch the words. We changes the order of the words and start the sentence with the verb to be in the past. In this case, it's like, was there a dog in the park? For example, repeat, was there, check this, switch the words. It's like, switch the words, right? Was there a dog in the park? A dog in the park. Was there a dog in the park? Was there a dog in the park? Right, and you can say, check this short answer. No, there was, check. No, there was not, for not, there was not a dog in the park. Right? Next, this is for questions, right? Now is the turn for a negative. For negative sentence, please pay attention all this knowledge. Now for negative, the negative form of there was or there were formed by adding not after was. You can answer using a short form on contraction 2. Check this. Was not is the or were not. Under construction are wasn't, weren't. Wasn't, weren't. Right? Please take photo for this one. Are you ready? Te voy a poner unos ejercicios, así que prepara tus apuntes para que los puedas resolver de la manera más exitosa posible. ¿Vale? Solo dame un minuto, déjate tomar agua. Vale. For exercise part, check this exercise. Check this exercise for you. A few boys on the soccer field. Next, number 2, too much tea in the cup. Next, for this one, many pictures in the museum. Check this. In 1974, blank little traffic in this street. In this street. A cat on the roof. Five minutes ago. Exercise number 6. A long time ago, blank, many rooms in this house. In this house. 7. Any cheese in the fridge? In the fridge. 8. Last night, a party. With the neighbors. 9. Blank. Now with black color. Many ducks in the park last weekend. And 10. Only one cupcake. Left. I'm sorry. Only one cupcake left. I'm sorry. Now, your homework for this exercise is decide if there is, there are, is there, are there. So try to solve this exercise. I'm gonna give you 30 seconds to try to solve this exercise. Pay attention or your if it's plural noun or singular noun, right? This is important. Or also if it's uncountable, uncountable, singular, right? And it's enough. I'm gonna give you big the answer for these questions. Right, the first What words goes here? What words? Check. Boys is plural. Now, further, the questions is the answer. There were a few boys on soccer fields. Now, read carefully the second. Too much tea in the cup. Right. Tea is uncountable, right? Therefore, the question is uncheck its questions. The answer is was there. Was there. 3. Many pictures in the museum. Pay attention. Picture is plural. Therefore, por lo tanto, therefore, it's there were. In 1974, one little traffic in this street. Now, for this, traffic is uncountable, right? Therefore, the answer is there wasn't. A little is uncountable for negative. There wasn't. Can you see? It's a little. Yes, you can see. On the 5, I cat on the roof 5 minutes ago. I mean 5 minutes ago. Hace 5 minutos. 5 minutes ago. And cat is singular. Therefore, because cat is singular, is there was. Now, a long time ago, hace mucho tiempo, many room in this house. Check rooms, room is singular. Therefore, the answer is there was. Right? There was. No, this is for rooms, sorry. There were many rooms. There were. Sorry. 7. Pay attention for this. Cheese is uncountable and any negative. Therefore, there wasn't. Last night, a party with the neighbors. Party is singular. Therefore, the correct answer there was. 9. Many dogs in the park last week. Repeat, many dogs in the park last week. Dogs is plurals. Therefore, the answer is were, and it's a question. Were there? Were there many dogs in the park last weekend? Right, and the last, only one cupcake left. I'm sorry. Only one cupcake is singular. Therefore, the answer is there was. Right? Please take photo for this exercise and continues with the next topic and the last topic for today. Are you done? No dejo solo, permíteme tomar agua. Ok. Acabamos de terminar el segundo tema de nuestro segundo bloque. Todavía nos queda media hora, entonces vamos a tener un tercer bloque el día de hoy con un tercer tema que obviamente va hilado con todo lo que estamos viendo. El siguiente tema es WH word in simple past. Who, what, where, how, and when. And this is the part one. Yes, we have a part two of this topic, right? Repeat. Sorry. Repeat. The topic is the next. WH word in simple past. WH words in simple past, right? Now, what is the double H words? Who, what, repeat. Who, what, where, how, and when. Just when, right? This is the part one. In this section, you will use sentence to give and ask for information about people and places and events in the past. To know someone better, it is a good idea to break ice by asking some questions. If you want to know something about your friends, family members, college, relatives, or other people's information about their past, this section can help you to get that information. Look at the following questions for this section, right? With WH word. For example, where was he from? Repeat, where was he from? Where was he from? Where was he from? Right? Where was he from? Another example with this, who were his main main friends? Who were who who were his main enemies? Another example with this, and what was his story about? What was his history about? And the last example, repeat, how was your first class at college? At college. Right? The previous question have to do with past and with the history of someone, all right? However, did you notice how an open question in simple past is formed in the next instruction? First of all, we need a WH questions, a double in, yes, WH question. First of all, repeat. Double H question. First of all, antes que nada, antes que todo. First of all, antes que todo. We need double H questions, right? Who, what, where, how, when, etc. Then we need to add the past tense of the verb to be. I mean, was, were. Right? Remember that the form was used for I, she, he, and it. Also, the form were used for you, we, and they. Right? After that, we need a subject, a complement. Subject with another color. Subject, complement, complement, and finally the question mark. It's like this, right? Check this. WH question, WH question, WH question, WH question. Was, where, who were his, sorry, who were, sorry. Oh, okay. Where was, right? Subject, your, his, he. Complement, first class, sorry about, main enemies, from, and question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. Right? This is the structure for the WH questions in the past. Please take photo or take a screenshot or write down in your notebooks all this knowledge. Are you done? I'm gonna give you more example for this one. Check for this. Who was your best teacher? Who was your with black? Who was your best teacher? Who was your best teacher at the school, at the elementary school? In the elementary school, in, in high school, and question mark, right? Another example with this structure, maybe when was Julia birthday? Repeat, when was Julia's and complement birthday. When was Julia's birthday? It's all a question mark. Now, another example with this structure. What was what was what was Marilyn Monroe's real name? Right? Another example with this. When how was how was the soccer match? The soccer match. Repeat. Who was the soccer match you went? And the last example, and this is the last. What about who, when, what, how? This is all, right? Now, after the question, we answer using the following partner, right? Pattern. For after the question, the partner is subject, right? Subject wasn't, weren't, weren't, complement. Subject wasn't, weren't, complement. Subject wasn't, weren't, complement. Check the possible answer to the previous questions. For example, who was your best teacher in high school? My best teacher in high school was Mr. Ronaldo. It wasn't Mr. Gordon, right? It wasn't Mr. Gordon, right? Uh, when was Julia's birthday? Her birthday was last Friday. It wasn't last Thursday. What was Marilyn Monroe's real name? Her real name was Norma Jean Baker. It wasn't Alana Parker, right? And the last, who was the soccer match you went? It was boring. It wasn't exciting, right? Please take for this knowledge. Are you ready? Ya casi llegamos al final de la clase. Falta un ejercicio y dejarte tu tarea de esta parte. Anoto todo el pizarrón y en un segundo más iniciamos con la tarea y con el ejercicio para cerrar en la clase del día de hoy. Muchachito, muchachita, muchacha. Bien. I'm gonna delete all this. Right, for speaking. Now you have checked out the previous information. Let's start the exercise of this topic. For the part of the speaking or the homework, this is the homework part. Homework. Homework, right? For homework, policies and tips. Repeat, policies and tips. Police, policías, and tips. Policías y macacos, policías y ladrones. When you were a child, you used to play a game where you were asked questions. Now I want to play with you, right? I am a police officer and you are the type, right? I want to ask you some questions, answer and record them, then evaluate yourself, right? The first question is, where were you at 6 a.m. yesterday? Repeat, where were you at 6 a.m. yesterday? The next, were you in school at 10 o'clock yesterday? 3, were you at the library yesterday afternoon? 4, was your friends and at your house after school yesterday? And 5, what day was your birthday last year? Right? Record your answer in your computer or your cell phone. Save your answer, and once you finish, evaluate your performance using all this knowledge. Right? Now, this is for the homework for you, policies and tips. Now, for the part of the self-assessment, para la parte de la autoevaluación, please try to put in order next words. The next words. Check this. This is for exercise. The last exercise for today. Put on in order the next words. Check this. This is the first, right? Just hold on, just hold on, just hold on. Born, my, January, was, father, was, father, 1940, in, right? What is the order? Is born. What is the correct order for all these words? Check the next. There wasn't good movie, right? Third, for the third, were you in years 1973? Question mark, 7 old. Fourth, fourth, first, first, your was, first your was English, teacher, who, and five, at, were, lost, were, 10, question mark, comma, you, comma, Nike. Right? Please put on in order all these words and try to try to make a sentence with all these words in a scramble. Are you done? I bet yes. I'm gonna give you the answer for this, the last exercise. Right, the first. Born my January was father 1940 M. The first is my because start with capital letter. January and also start with capital letter, but in this case, my is the first. The second, father, right? Second, father. Third, was, remember the structure, was born in, right? Born in January 1914. And check. My father was born in January 1914. Great. The next. The first is dead, right? Second, movie wasn't good. And the sentence it's the movie wasn't good. Right. The next, were you injured? The first were you, and third, seven, fourth, years, five, whole, six, in, and seven, the age, right? Um, four. This is first. This is the first. Sorry. Hold on. First. Right? First. Now, in this case, who is the first? Who? Next, who was? Then, your. Then, first. Then, English. And last, teacher. And it's like, who was your first English teacher? It's right. Also this, also this. And the last, the first is were. Then the were, then you, then last, then Nike, then at, and finally 10, right? 6, 7. Right? And the sentence is the next. Where were you last night at 10 o'clock? Right? And this is right. Bueno, hemos llegado al final por el día de hoy. Espero que lo hayan disfrutado, por lo menos aprendido muchísimo, porque se dieron 3 temas muy, muy importantes, súper completos en todas sus matices. Es acerca del pasado. Y recuerda que si quieres retroalimentación sobre sus tareas, quieres aprender más, nosotros en Conamat de Catepec tenemos curso de inglés y también preparamos para la certificación Cambridge Internacional. ¿Vale? Entonces, no lo dudes más, inscríbete a Conamat Ecatepec. Te recuerdo que estamos ubicados 3030 a una cuadra del Mexibus de San Cristóbal Centro. Y pues bueno, no solamente eso, tenemos infinidad de cursos, sobre todo matemáticas, química, de todos los cursos. Tenemos amplio abanico de opciones educativas que estoy seguro que van a atender a tus necesidades educativas o profesionales. Bueno, por mi parte es todo. Yo fui el profesor Rodrigo y nos vemos en la que sigue. See you later, guys.